It's just a big disguise to bring in legislation to control people.
We're now living in a country where opinions are being policed.
Welcome to the UK in 2025, where you can show up on a beach, no passport, no papers, just shout asylum.
Welcome back to Common Sense Lab, where we break down the real-world issues people are going through with actual data, not just feelings. They told us it was for the kids, to keep the internet safe, to stop under 18s from watching porn. But what they didn't say is that you'd be uploading your face into a third-party facial recognition system just to shitpost on Reddit, access vital sexual health advice, or even talk about Gaza. This isn't child protection. Here is the thing that no one in power wants to say out loud. This is a control system operating in broad daylight, and most of us won't realize it until it's too late.
The UK is making people upload their face to the internet and they're pretending that it's for safety. As of yesterday, the Online Safety Act officially came into effect. If you want to access age-restricted content online in the UK, whether it be from Reddit or porn sites or wherever, you now have to upload a photo of your face or a scan of your face into AI age verification software. It sounds reasonable at first. Protect the kids and keep the internet safe. But I don't think this is fully about the kids. Instead of the UK government deciding to build their own secure, centralised and anonymous verification system, which would be the bare minimum in this case, they've decided that they're going to outsource it to third-party companies. Reddit and Pornhub have decided they're going to use Persona, which is an American verification ID system. Let's be very clear about what that means. The UK government is now forcing UK citizens to hand over their most sensitive data, their faces, their IDs, their emails, to foreign corporations. Not even secure, government-held databases, just random third-party platforms with terms and conditions that nobody reads and servers that you have no control or voting power over. If you decide to verify through the Reddit website, they will ask you to upload a photo of your driving license. And that means, and I cannot believe that I'm saying this, if you search on Google Images for UK driving license, there are a lot of good results out there that you can use perfectly and they won't ask for any backup or secondary information. So here's my line in the sand. I'm not going to be sending the government my ID so that I can just shitpost on websites, and I'm not going to be sending some third-party platforms my face just so that I can legally prove that I can have a wank. I'm going to give it about a week before the backlash properly sets in and people realise what's actually going on, and about a month before there's a massive data breach. It's probably a good day to be a VPN company though, hottest stocks in Britain right now. And let's not ignore the bigger picture here. This legislation isn't just invasive, it's pointless. Anyone who wants to get around it will, and kids are smart. Fake IDs, VPNs, dodgy workarounds, if they want to get onto these sites, they will. This isn't just bad tech policy, it is a fundamental betrayal of one of the core principles of British democracy, governing and policing by consent. The idea that the general public willingly give a degree of power to the state with the trust that they'll use it responsibly, that might be gone now. Instead, we get this, a government that is so seemingly obsessed with control, with the idea that they are looking like they are doing something, that they're just willingly giving away data to companies that you don't even know about. It's sloppy, it's unprofessional, and it is weak. And frankly, it's a disgrace for a government that has a majority, and individually the ministers aren't idiots, and yet collectively keep making idiotic policy. And sure, there is the occasional good idea in the mix with this kind of policy. But right now, this is not competence, this is not safety, this is just a data grab in broad daylight dressed up as child protection.
That wasn't an exaggeration. That's a UK citizen explaining what the law actually means in practice. A facial scan to post on Reddit, your ID to scroll TikTok, all stored by American third-party companies, with zero oversight and absolutely no guarantees. The speaker in that clip hits on something crucial. This does not require more effort to bypass, and it is about you, once again, trying to survive a rigged game where the rules are stacked high against you.
The Online Safety Act is necessary, is what I thought 6 months ago. And since then, I've done my own research and not just taken the government's word for it, much like the trans bathroom debate which was pitched at us to protect women and children from trans people who will attack us in toilets. It's just a big disguise to bring in legislation to control people and also make disadvantaged groups of people worse off. Now you may be thinking, who is being discriminated against by the Online Safety Act? It is so that people under the age of 18 can't view porn. And that's what I thought at the beginning as well. But was I wrong? Because news of what is happening in Gaza is being censored. Even my own content where I talk about being an SA survivor, and dealing with mental health issues and going to Crown Court and dealing with a lot of really heavy stuff is being censored. And let me tell you, a lot of my messages have come from people under the age of 18 who desperately need support and advice and feel like they can't go to anybody else about it. I like to take everything that I see with a pinch of salt, but this is literally state censorship, which is a thing that comes straight out of the fascist playbook. Now, I don't know about any other ADHD neurodivergent folk. We're very good at spotting patterns. I don't know if anybody else is just getting the same feeling that we are following the same trajectory and the same pattern as the world in the 1940s, and we know what happened in that decade.
This isn't child protection. This is pure algorithmic silence, and the most vulnerable voices, survivors, neurodivergent creators, those speaking truth to power, they're the first ones being flagged. Makes you wonder why.
The new Online Safety Act in the UK has really caught my attention this week, not just for what it says, but for what it means. On the surface, doesn't it sound great? Age verification through formal ID to prevent young people and children from accessing harmful adult content online. Wonderful, in principle. But in practice, not so much. This act is way more complicated than people are making it out to be, and I'm going to dive into some of my major concerns here. Number one, blocking does not equal safety. Making something harder to access doesn't make it disappear. Young people will find other ways, just like they did with, disposable vapes. The difference here is that those other ways can lead to much darker, much more dangerous corners of the internet. Putting up legal blocks doesn't necessarily stop them getting to it, it just forces content underground. And kids will easily find a shovel if they want to watch that stuff. Number two, slightly connected, moderated sites are still safer. Adult moderated sites are still safer than that alternative. Mainstream adult sites, whilst not appropriate in any way for kids, are still legal and still moderated, push content underground, and you run a very real risk of young people and children stumbling into unmoderated, illegal, potentially traumatizing material, not to mention one of my biggest concerns. One slip up in that environment and they could be in very real danger. The dark web isn't hard to access, and behind those gates are countless predators waiting for an opportunity just like this one. Call me radical, but I would rather our teenagers watch age illegal material, but generally legal material, safely, than watching stuff unsafely and potentially stumbling into goodness knows what. Because they're gonna watch it either way. Number three, adult content isn't just the sort of adult content that we all think about. The law covers all adult content, including gender-affirming resources, sexual health info, drug support, pregnancy termination access, survivor and help forums, the kind of support that young people can desperately need, especially when home isn't a safe place. Cutting them off endangers them. Many young people find help and support and even survival and escape through adult content. And we've just removed so many of their lifelines. So many of their lifelines out of abuse. That should worry all of us significantly. Number four, your data is now in third-party hands. To access adult content as an adult, you and me, you'll need to submit personal data to a third-party verification system. And when, not if, when that data leaks, we're talking about deeply sensitive information being exposed. Completely legal, but deeply personal. And personal data is an exceptionally powerful leverage in the wrong hands. This will be used for blackmail. This will be used for extortion, without a shadow of a doubt. Number five, slippery slope here towards surveillance. The act isn't authoritarian yet, but it could be the start of normalised internet policing. Who defines what inappropriate is? Today, it's adult content, which makes large amounts of sense unless you really think about it. Tomorrow, it could be political dissent, left or right. The power lies in who's in charge at the time, and that should make everyone pause for consideration. Blue skies now can quickly fill with clouds. I wouldn't bet on this being a great thing. Number 6, privacy will be compromised. This law pushes platforms to break end-to-end encryption, threatening everyone's right to private communication. Yes, it might reduce some online crime, but it also means your DMs, your personal life, your data, potentially now accessible. And nothing to hide doesn't necessarily mean that everything should be visible. That's a key point to consider. You may not be hiding anything illegal as an adult, but does that mean that you want everyone to know everything? No, it doesn't. I haven't done anything illegal, but I don't fancy people having a gander through my search history, selling it off and getting blackmailed through it. It's invasive, it's personal, it's private, and people have a right to that. My final thoughts. In principle, I'm all for protecting vulnerable people. I'm all for protecting children. I think it is long overdue that something is done. But in practice, this act is full of ginormous blind spots. We should be asking far more questions before we hand over our privacy in exchange for a sense of safety. That, to me, is much more symbolic than actually real. I think this is an illusion of protecting the vulnerable. But in reality, I think there's a very, very big chance that this could do the opposite. It feels like we've closed one door, but opened up 20. And I'm not sure that that's keeping children and young people safe. I'm just not convinced.
This is the part they won't ever talk about. The false sense of safety they're selling might be pushing young people directly into harm's way.
No ID to enter the UK by dinghy, but to bash one out, full facial scan now. Welcome to the UK in 2025, where you can show up on a beach, no passport, no papers. Just shout asylum and boom, a free hotel, 3 meals a day and £175 a week. But you want to have a quick solo session online? Might want to think again. You better be ready to upload your passport, a selfie and an AI face scanning situation. I'm in America and I don't go and look for porn, but I did see Dapper Laughs do a video on this today, and whilst it made me laugh, it made me just go, what the fuck? At the double standard of this bullshit. You literally couldn't make this shit up. So let me get this straight. We're not allowed to ask migrants for ID on the shores, because that would just get called racist. But the moment a British citizen clicks on a risque video, they have to pass a biometric background check. Fine, seems legit. Totally fair. Makes sense. This isn't about safety. It's not about protecting kids. It's about control. And probably blackmail material for the future, if they ever need to get you to admit to something that you didn't do or to take a punishment that you don't deserve. Control of you, your data, your habits, your freedom. They won't track the people flooding the country illegally, but they'll track you pleasuring yourself at 1 a.m. on your own Wi-Fi. Priorities? Absolutely fucked. Who's actually going to be uploading these selfies? I mean, isn't that not just a bit off-putting? Like, fuck that. I'm sure you can just use a VPN, but this is just ridiculous. Oh, now I'm going to have to try, aren't I? for research purposes. This is all part of the Online Safety Act, which... Anyway, so let's do the maths. Face scans for British citizens who want to access legal content. Migrants, no IDs, no checks, just come right in. Full benefits. And state jobs now include legal roles in a system that isn't even British. Are you all keeping up? This isn't random. Why? New rules and behavioural control. This just so happens to align with certain religious systems that we're not allowed to name. Ask yourself, is this the UK? Does it feel like it? Thank God I'm in America. Fuck.
Strip away the sarcasm and she's right. This isn't safety. It's a double standard that makes no logical sense until you realise it's not supposed to.
Right, you're going to want to listen to this. The British government is now creating an elite police unit to monitor your social media posts for so-called anti-migrant rhetoric. Yep, you heard that right. We're now living in a country where opinions are being policed. Not actions, not crimes, not violence, words. They're setting up offices in Westminster at the National Police Coordination Centre just to scroll through social media, looking for signs of unrest or misinformation about immigration, not to tackle the actual crimes happening across the country, but to monitor us. You speak out against migrant hotels in your town, you question why hundreds of military-aged men with no documents are being bussed into your community, boom, you're flagged. And this is being sold to us as keeping the peace. No. This is authoritarianism. This is totalitarianism. When free speech becomes a threat to the state, you don't have a free state anymore. This is how regimes tighten their grip, by watching everything you say and pretending it's for your safety. Britain is sleepwalking into a surveillance state, and most people are too afraid or too distracted to even notice. But not me, and hopefully not you.
You want to talk about government overreach? It's not just what you do, it's what you say, and they're building entire police divisions to monitor it. The Online Safety Act isn't about kids, it's not about corn, it's not even about safety. It's about pure control, about you giving up consent, one ID scan at a time. It's about making you so used to being monitored that you stop noticing. This isn't a tech policy, it's a chilling philosophy of power. So here's the question, where's your line in the sand? If you found this breakdown useful, hit that subscribe button. We're building a community of people who want to understand what's really happening behind the headlines. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Are you seeing similar issues where you live? And let us know if these videos are representing your reality. At Common Sense Lab, we don't just react, we connect the dots, expose the patterns, and remind you, the system isn't broken, it's functioning exactly how it was built, and that means it can be rebuilt.